Nearly a year ago, my family left the United States to begin traveling the world full time. We are not wealthy, we aren't retired, and we don't even make all that much money. We have just set up remote income streams that allow us to travel to low cost of living countries and be able to make enough money to pay for all of our expenses and do it in a way that works for us. Even if you don't want to travel the world full time like we are, setting up some remote income streams can be one of the best things that you can do for yourself and your family. It gives you choices. It's the freedom to work your own schedule, to do work that you actually enjoy, to be home with your family, to move without changing jobs, and to not depend on somebody else writing you a paycheck. Remote income isn't just about travel, it is about taking back control of your life. In this video, I'm going to share the 9 streams of income that I have that has helped me to not just survive life anymore, but to actually thrive. Not through extreme hustle or wealth, but through creativity, intention, and the belief that ordinary people can live extraordinary lives. When I first started building remote income, I didn't know exactly where I was going to go. I just knew that I couldn't keep living the 9 to 5 life that I was living at the time. There were things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to have the freedom to enjoy the things that I was doing. I was burnt out going to work, and I knew that it didn't have to be that way. At the time, I didn't even think about traveling the world. That wasn't even a possibility. I think what a lot of people don't see is that it does take time to build. This doesn't happen overnight. It is something that you slowly work on, and it eventually snowballs into the type of income that will allow you complete freedom. One income stream leads to another, and they keep building on top of each other. And each time you add another one, you have a little more breathing room, you have a little more freedom. And that's why I always say the best time to start is yesterday, but the next best time to start is today. My very first stream of income that I'm going to talk about is YouTube AdSense. This is something that took me a long time to build up. I have had this YouTube channel for maybe 9 years is when I posted my first public video. And I'm finally almost at 100,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. And thank you all for being here and watching. But it was not a fast way to make money. And it's also not a super, it is reliable in that I consistently make enough money to be able to fund all of my yearly expenses. I have been able to pay for all of our yearly expenses for the last 2 years just from AdSense. But by the month, it's not very consistent. So over the past year, my monthly income on AdSense has ranged anywhere from about $1,000 a month all the way up to $6,500 a month. So you have to be very budget conscious and able to have money saved and just be aware of the inconsistency of the YouTube AdSense revenue. And how you make money on AdSense is it's from the ads on your videos. Once you become monetized, which is right now, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, you can start making money on the ads of your videos. It really is not tied to the amount of subscribers you have. It is tied to the amount of views and the watch time on your videos. So the longer people are watching, the more ads they're going to see and the more money you get paid. The month that I made $6,500 was I had a video go viral that ended up getting over 1 million views, and that month was an outlier. And when we first started traveling, I kind of changed my content from homesteading to traveling, and so my audience shifted. And so I knew my income was going to drop from there and I was going to have to rebuild my audience. So it got down to about $1,000 for a couple months when we first started traveling before people got reinterested in my content. I know a lot of people don't want to start a YouTube channel, but YouTube is really just one type of leverage in order to have remote work. You do not have to have a YouTube channel. That's just my way. So that's like the easiest thing for me to talk about. But the goal is really just to have remote work online. And one way to do that is by building an audience. That can either be through YouTube, through blogging, through teaching, freelancing. I mean, there's a ton of different avenues that you can go down online. It doesn't have to be YouTube. And that is only one source of income that I have, although a few of them are kind of related to YouTube. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is sponsorships. And that is where, because I have an audience, companies will come to me and want me to talk about their product on my video, and in return for that, they pay me a set amount of money. And generally, it is tied to how many subscribers you have, how many views you have every month. And sponsorships range for creators anywhere from a few $100s to a few $1,000s per video. Now, again, this is one of those snowball effects that initially, if you want to start a YouTube channel or have some sort of audience, grow an audience, the sponsorships come later after you begin to build your audience. So when you're thinking about doing this, initially you do all this stuff kind of for free, and then you have to have a long-term vision of where it could potentially go. Because as your audience grows, your YouTube revenue will grow, your sponsorship amount will grow, and it just is an exponential growth with most of these income streams that I'm talking about. You have to start early and see the long-term vision down the road. It is very important to only recommend products that you align with. So I get and have gotten and held off of doing any sort of sponsorship for a very long time because I didn't want to be a sellout. I wanted you guys to trust me and to know that if I'm truly recommending a product, it's something that I have used before the product came to me and asked me to sponsor it. Or if they do come to me, want to try it out for a long time and just make sure that it is something that I would actually purchase. And it's just like integrity wise, it's like I would never want to recommend something to somebody and have somebody spend their very valuable money on a product that is crap. But you also lose trust in your audience, and they're not going to trust you in the future and want to buy from you in the future if you just ruin that trust. So the third stream of income that I have is affiliates. And affiliates are kind of like sponsorships, but they're a lot easier to get into and really the best way to start making money initially with some sort of online platform. So even if you don't, like, there's no barrier to entry. If you have 0 subscribers on your channel, you can still post a video on a product, again, that you actually would recommend. Make sure you're being honest and truthful about it. But you can have a link. You can join Amazon and have like an Amazon link that will link out to that product. And if you sell a product through Amazon, you usually get between like 3 and 6% commission off of that product and anything else that they buy in their shopping cart for that purchase. You can also do that with things like directly through the company. So affiliate income is a great way to have some money coming in. I don't buy a lot of products, so I don't recommend a lot of products just because I'm pretty frugal and it's not something that I'm not a big shopper, so it's not really in my niche to like recommend a bunch of products. But like at the bottom, if you go look in the description of this video, I have all of my favorite travel gear down there because we're traveling full time. And so like if you're interested in what travel gear I use, you can go down there and just link out to Amazon. So my fourth stream of income is digital products. And these are things that I personally create and that are my own. I kind of lumped into this as also merch, and I have created a financial literacy curriculum for adults. It's like a kind of like a course, but it's not really online. It's more set up of like you go to the library and check out some books and you go through a course to learn about financial literacy through living books. I'm a homeschool mom, and so that is a way that I like to learn best. I love homeschool curriculum, and it is just something that I like. So I am working on creating more digital products for adults to teach themselves topics, and I have a lot more topics coming up. I have a million topics in my brain that I want to work on, but that is a digital product. Digital products that I create, I own all the rights. I'm not just getting a percentage of it. It is the most scalable form of income where you're not relying on an outside source necessarily. Like I get to keep 100% of the money that I make on my digital products. That is also very passive. Once I create it, then it's there, it's available. I need to mention it in YouTube videos and make sure that I am kind of like advertising for it and letting people know that it's there and available, but I don't have to create, it's been created. I've done all the work up front, and I can continue to build more and more and more on that and grow the amount of digital products that I have created. And this is where, for me, like my true passions come in. It's where I'm able to make money in a way that I truly love. I love YouTube videos, but that income is dependent on views and stuff like that. Sponsorships is still somebody else paying me money. When I am doing digital products and things that I totally and truly create on my own, then that is just a personal relationship between me and you, and there's no middleman. There's nothing I'm trying to sell for anybody else, and I just like that. When you're thinking of all of this stuff, that thinking about what you can personally create that's 100% yours is the way that you will eventually be able to make the most money. Number 5 source of income is Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. It is on-demand books that you can sell on Amazon. You can write I would love to write a book. I haven't actually written like an actual book yet, although that is on my bucket list of things that I want to do. But you can create low content books on Amazon, things like journals and planners, calendars, puzzles, and sell them on Amazon, and they're really easy to do. The way that I do it is I have been using BookBolt, which is a platform that has a lot of information on what books are trending right now, so you know what to create. They have templates of pages so that you can easily create journals. You can edit them also to make them more your own. And it's just a really good platform to be able to create low content books quickly, and also have all the back end resources to know like what you should be doing it on. The thing I love about BookBolt is it is only $9.99 a month. This is an example of an affiliate. So I have a partnership with BookBolt where if you use my code that I'm putting right here, you can go to BookBolt and sign up for their membership and get 20% off for the lifetime of your membership. So if you decide to sign up and also use BookBolt, then I get a percentage of your sign up. And so I make a little bit of money. You get to save 20% off of your membership for the lifetime. And so that is a way that I can recommend a product to you that I actually use and I'm actually benefiting from. Income stream number 6 is not necessarily income that I'm making, but money that I'm not having to spend. It is a value exchange, so I get free products and services and experiences in exchange for showcasing whatever it is to my audience. So while I'm not getting actual income from this, the added benefit is actually a tax benefit in that because there's no money being exchanged, I'm not actually getting an income. I don't have to pay taxes on this money. This is a way that a lot of very wealthy people get around paying taxes, by the way, is that they don't accept payment in the form of income. They accept payment in the form of free products, services, stocks, investments. So just something to consider. Income stream number 7 is interest on investments. Something that I am grateful that I learned very early just through self-teaching and reading books is the benefit of interest. When you have debt, you are paying interest and you are giving your money away and you are losing money. But when you are saving money and investing money, you are earning money through interest. That's how wealthy people build their wealth, is they literally have money just sitting in investments and they're earning interest on it, whereas most people are in debt and are just losing money because they're in debt. So it was very important to me to get out of debt very early. I never was really in a lot of debt. Stay out of debt and to not go into debt because I did not want to waste my money on interest. It is really not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with the money that you do have. I have never had a high income. Most of my life, I have lived at or below the federal poverty line in the United States. I've never been extremely wealthy. I've never had a career where I made a lot of money. I have just been very strategic with the way in which I have utilized the money that I do have. Money is a tool, and I've just made a lot of decisions in my life to be as strategic as possible with the small amount of money that I did have. One example of that is income stream number 8, and that is through an owner-financed property. So might be a long story. If you've been with me for a while, you know that when I was in my early 20s, I left an abusive relationship. I was a single mom. I was making $22,000 a year. This was back in 2010. Okay, so $22,000 a year in 2010. And I was able to qualify for a low mortgage of, it was about $80,000. And I got a foreclosure house. It was a fixer-upper. I used a 203K government-backed renovation loan in order to buy this kind of crappy house in a rural area on an acre. Over a 10-year period, I fixed up that house myself. I renovated it. I put a lot of work into the house so that after 10 years, the equity in the house built up enough that I was able to sell it and make a decent amount of money on it. I have gotten a lot of comments recently. I did a video about being poor in the US and people told me that you can't buy a house if you're poor. I mean, you can, you just have to have a job for 2 years and a low debt to income ratio and buy a really cheap house. So you can, the situation in the US was different at that point, but it's still possible. It still happened. Okay, it still happened. So with that money, instead of wasting it or blowing it or whatever, I knew that that was probably the most amount of money that I could make, that was a big deal to me. And so we bought a piece of, there were some steps in the middle, but ultimately we bought a piece of property in Virginia. We bought 7 acres. We lived off grid on that and homesteaded and all of that stuff. And then we decided to leave the United States. So we could have sold the property outright, but knowing that we needed an investment and the power of interest, we decided to owner finance the property. So if you don't know anything about owner finance property, basically we get we are acting as the bank, and the people who bought the property are paying us a monthly payment for it, and they will be doing that for the next 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, then they will have a balloon payment. So they have to pay us a lump sum for the property, which at that point, maybe they'll be able to get a loan for it, or we can re-owner finance it. But basically, long story short, we are making $600 a month on our property, and then at the end of the term, they basically owe us the same amount of money that they financed it for. So we're just getting paid $600 in interest for the next 5 years. There's benefits for them too. It's really hard to get a loan from a bank for a land. It is just the way where you take out the banks and work together, as a community to benefit each other. Just gives people an opportunity to be able to own some property. And then my 9th income stream is honestly my most unexpected, but also my most meaningful income stream, and that is from you guys. That is through my community, from YouTube memberships, from super thanks here on YouTube, from Ko-Fi and coffee. I don't know how to say it. I guess it's coffee. From just people supporting me in my channel, in my journey, not just recently, but over the years of having that support and having that community. And without you guys watching my videos and, being here, without you guys, none of this is possible. Every time somebody comments, I get so many amazing, kind, just supportive comments. I get some not very nice ones too, but we're focusing on the positive ones today. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have such an amazing audience, and I hope that I can continue to provide value. That is my thing in order to show how appreciative I am, is continue to do videos that add value, that are beneficial in some way, that share things that helped me. So I'm making this video is because these things are possible. I started this journey, and this idea came from watching YouTube videos, and it has literally changed my life. I watched YouTube videos about people who had done the things that I didn't think were possible, and I believed them in some way, knowing that they did it, that maybe it is possible, and it is. It's not a fast process. It takes time. You have a lot to learn. You have a lot to build. But if you start, you can get there. If you start and stick with it, it is possible to do all of these things. People underestimate, and this might be an overused concept, but at least it is in the videos that I watch. But in case you haven't heard this, people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year. And when they don't do it, they get really disappointed and frustrated. But they underestimate what they can accomplish in 10 years. You can do so much in 10 years. 10 years ago, I hadn't left the United States before. I was working a job that didn't align with me, that was overwhelming. I was struggling with my kids in public school, and we didn't like it, and I wanted to be home with my kids. I didn't want to work all the time and not be there for my kids who needed me. I was a single parent, and I was struggling. I was trying to do all of these things. I never dreamed that I would have a year where I have been to Thailand and Vietnam, and now I'm in Albania, and I'm planning an incredible holiday adventure through European Christmas markets. It's crazy that this is the life that I have now. But I'm so glad that I started doing this 10 years ago, and here I am today. So just imagine where you could be in 10 years. Or if 10 years is too far away, in 5 years, in 3 years, where could you be? Where could your life be? Because this has been a process. Isn't the goal, this is not my end goal. I plan on doing even more amazing, incredible things. And all along the 10 years, it's built up. I've done incredible things. We did a cross-country trip across the United States. We moved to the beach in Florida and got to live at the beach for 3 years. We bought a piece of property in beautiful Virginia, these beautiful piece of property in the Appalachian Mountains. And we had an amazing life there. I've done amazing things all along the way. And I'm going to continue to do amazing things. There's no end goal. Just keep going. Take control of your life. Do the things you want to do. Don't let the system hold you down. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Just start today. Start for your kids' future, to inspire other people. Just do it.